Ladies and gentlemen, a new PTR build just dropped for Warcraft 3, and let's go change by change. Of course, I'm going to focus on very important changes, and I'm going to show them on the PTR testing map, actually. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is a nerf to Vampiric Potion, this ability, this potion that gives you lifesteal and bonus damage. There is nerf to Rune of Leather Healing, which is still problematic, I think, and very small change to adjust the gold cost of Ring of Protection +3, because there is no more Ring of Protection +4 in the drop tables. So let's check them in the game. So Vampiric Potion got nerfs, and let's test if we can still use it and creep, for example, a small green camp. This camp is not that easy to creep, but ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the Vampiric Potion duration is not that bad. And it's also stacking with crits. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we can see, this Blade Master is solo creeping the 2 turtles, and he's still getting HP back. It's not that rapid, but it's definitely a small improvement. And you may say, Saul, what about the late game? Look at this, we have level 5 Blade Master with powerful Vampiric Potion. Can we survive versus 3 abominations? Let's see about that. In the past, ladies and gentlemen, this Vampiric Potion was so strong. We are basically getting a full Blade Master, and we are critting. Remember, it works with critting. But look at this. This lifesteal that got nerfed is actually big. So I kinda like the change. The Vampiric Potion is not oppressive in the late game. It's good in the late game, but it's tricky. So I would keep the Vampiric Potion as it is. What I would not keep, ladies and gentlemen, is this Rune of Lesser Healing, because you can fight this on when Tom +2, like +2 intelligence drops. You can also find this Rune of Lesser Healing, and it's going to give you 75 HP. So Paladin from 200 HP to 275. And for some, like if you have 1 unit only, like solo creeping Blade Master is bad. But if you have 5 Footman on the like half HP and the Archmage on half HP, this rune is pretty good. And I don't like that this exists in the game. It adds this RNG. Human changes, and as we can see, a big change to the orb. If you don't know, every race has specific orb, and human used to have Orb of Fire. Now we are going to have Orb of Slow. And how do we need to think about this? It's like applying slow from the Sork, basically, with your hero attacks, and the values are okay, I guess. The cost is the same, it's still giving you +5 damage. We are going to test how this orb behaves, because there are different opinions in the community. But ladies and gentlemen, the Pala Rifle enthusiasts, I need to tell you that I don't have good news for all of the Pala Rifle fans. Multiple nerfs to Pala Rifle. Banish cooldown increase from 0 seconds to 4. That's a kinda infinite increase. Holy Light also nerfed to 6 seconds, it feels very bad. And even Flying Machine movement speed was nerfed. In order to test the nerfs of human, we are, ladies and gentlemen, on the graveyard, because this graveyard is symbolizing what happened to our beloved human race. As we can see, we Holy Light, and before we can Holy Light more, we have 6-second cooldown. Look at this Banish. I'm casting Banish, and I want to cast Banish again, and I can't. There is a cooldown here. The Flying Machine is flying slower and slower. Look at this. It feels, to be honest, when I'm controlling Flying Machine now, it feels a little bit I would have 200 ms lag, basically. And yes, from the previous iteration, we had nerf on armor, of militia, we had nerf of the slow duration, it all stays. And ladies and gentlemen, you may say, Saul, what about the orb? What about this new item that is going to purchase, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, you can buy it on tier 3. And let's see how good it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, Archmage is going to attack this knight, and look at this. On with it. Okay, that's perfect. It's his slowdown, but look at this. We can use mana still. Okay, we can dispel this with this beautiful Destroyer can dispel orb effect. Can you believe it? I had a question as well. Can you dispel? Can you use slow on the mana immune? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's funny that we got a slowdown spell breaker, but ladies and gentlemen, we can dispel we can dispel orb effect. This is not great, and ladies and gentlemen, actually, can we dispel it? I don't even know. We can't dispel it. Okay, as we can see, live testing here, ladies and gentlemen, and this Archmage is going to die, but that's fine. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, this orb effect can be dispelled, and this orb effect can be even stolen by the spell breaker. So let me tell you, this is not the best orb effect, because, for example, when you use Undead, or Nidal, the orb effect can't be dispelled or, God forbid, stolen. So I really don't like this new orb, and this new orb is basically like a Sork slow, and in the late game you have the Sorks anyway. After the human, let's check what happened with the orc. So there are some buffs to the Orb of Lightning. The damage buff stays to summoned units, but they make the orb cost the same as it used to be. So they want to keep the Tauren resistant skin buff. That's why they are nerfing a little bit the Tauren cost, but in my opinion you make 3 Taurens anyway, so this is not that big. Like for example, Headhunter cost changes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, multiple nerfs to the sentry wards, to the stasis wards, to healing wards. Why? Because they want to keep this spell immunity, magic immunity on the wards, that you can dispel them with destroyers and other source of dispel, and that's why they need to work a little bit worse, right? So there is smaller area of effect for healing, for detonation, the shorter detonation duration, I mean stun duration and stuff like that. And last but not least, they decided to buff the Great Hall build time a little bit smaller to not make Orc really OP. Let's check out the changes in the game. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with these abilities. As we can see, the healing ward, can you see the difference? Can you see the difference in the healing ward, like distance? When I try to dispel it, it doesn't work. If I try to attack it, it says that unit is immune to magic. And yes, so basically they have lower HP, like 50 HP, 25 HP, 5 HP, because you can't dispel them, you need to attack them. What is also important, yes, the buff to the Tauren stays, the resistance skin is still there. I can't devour, I can't possess. As we can see, the gold cost is increased. Okay, I will show you with synergy. So we have 310, 300 gold and 100 lumber. The cost of Orb of Venom is changed. And ladies and gentlemen, that's about it. Orc is looking strong. They want to keep the Taurens and the Witch Doctor strategy alive. And I think Orc can be pretty good in the next patch. And ladies and gentlemen, creme de la creme of the balance patch. We have huge change to Nidal. First thing first, Demon Hunter stays as strong as it is. There is no change to the mana burn, is reverted. What about the wisps? Does it mean they are nerfed or buffed? I tested it. You have around 12% more lumber from every wisp, because they are getting lumber faster. The Moonstone duration change is not that big. It's 5 seconds buff. It's okay, but not that big. The new change, Keeper of the Growth strength gain increase, but it's very limited. Like, it's basically every level you get a little bit more strength, and when you get level 5, you have plus 25, not strength, but just HP. So plus 25 HP for the Keeper, not that big. Triads are attacking a little bit faster. I'm going to show you. It means, yes, the smaller the number, the faster they are attacking. We tested this. Chimeras actually feel much better to operate. They are faster. And ladies and gentlemen, this change. If this change go live, the Warcraft 3 will change forever. Tier 2 Aline with Hunts is going to happen. Why Hunts are bad? In the mid game, in the late game, because they are unarmored. Opponent can accumulate a lot of piercing damage, fiends, rifles, maybe some towers and expand, but now on tier 2 you can still use your beautiful Hunts because they have heavy armor now. And there is a cool visual effect. Fairy dragons can move a little bit quicker now, because, ladies and gentlemen, when you use Mana Flare ability, in the past they were stuck for like 20 seconds, and now you can just reposition them. And ladies and gentlemen, Varpolar Blade, so this like ability for glaive throwers to attack trees and attack like better, now gets plus 10 damage, but it's also broken. It doesn't work. I will show you in the game right now. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the most important? You go on tier 2, you upgrade your Hunts, and they're going to change. As we can see, they have this blue cool effect, and they have heavy armor. As you remember, I said that Mana Flare now can be like stopped, so we are in the Mana Flare, but you can just click on it, and look at this, your Fairy Dragon can reposition. Of course, you need to wait for the Mana Flare cooldown, because it would be broken, but yes, he can reposition nicely. So let's test the Treants. They attack. Do you think they attack really quickly? They attack like that, so the HP of the Keeper is going down. And speaking of the HP of Keeper, sometimes you get him on level 4, maybe even level 5 if you play Keeper first. and he has only 700 HP. This is not that much, so this strength buff is whatever. Chimeras, the beautiful chimeras is flying in the skies, ladies and gentlemen. This actually feels cool. It actually feels cool to operate them. And ladies and gentlemen, look at this. I'm going to attack trees. Okay, so it's all. I'm attacking trees, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. I'm attacking the trees with my beautiful glaive thrower. You see, nothing is happens. You may say, so to attack trees, you need to go research Viporal Braids. And what is going to happen? My glaive thrower stopped attacking. And it can't attack at all. The attack animation is missing. Look at this. I'm not kidding. There is no attack animation because it's bugged. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope the patch will go like that. Kappa, but not really. Nobody's going for this ability anyway, but yes. Shout out to the Blizzard. I hope they're going to change this because, yes, you need to change your glaive thrower. Ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of the showdown. A showdown, ladies and gentlemen. Who is going to win? 2 Crypt Fiends or 2 Hunts? Without micro. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, why the Hunts are good on the mid game now? Because they have heavy armor. So in the past you used to accumulate those Fiends and used to attack the Hunts. It's 6 supply versus 6 supply, ladies and gentlemen. And look at this. Who is going to fight better? Who is going to fight better, ladies and gentlemen? As we can see, the Hunts are winning. The Hunts are winning. So 6 supply of Night Elf versus 6 supply of Undead. How are you going to stop the Hunts as the Undead? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Let's prepare the new Hunts and let's prepare 3 Headhunters, right? Because Headhunters, it's 6 supply. And let's see. Let's see, ladies and gentlemen. Again, no micro. No macro. Micro is allowed. Is Org going to produce a lot of Headhunters versus Hunts now? Of course, on tier 1, the Hunts are fragile versus piercing damage. But, ladies and gentlemen, with the heavy armor, this is looking a little bit better for the Huntress, isn't it? And look at this. Playing definitely Masked Hunters versus Hunts is not going to be that good. And again, 6 supply is not going to deal with it. You need more, ladies and gentlemen. So again, the Hunts are victorious. And now, everybody hated unit, the rifles. Nobody will play rifles, nobody will play human. But ladies and gentlemen, let's see. Can rifles do something to those Hunts, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see about that. 6 supply versus 6 supply again. No upgrades around. And ladies and gentlemen, let's see how the Hunts are doing. So this patch is going to be full of those Hunts. If this patch is going to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see about that. The beautiful Hunts with the tier 2 upgrade glaive thrower. Rifles can upgrade long range, but the long range is not going to happen that much. And ladies and gentlemen, the Huntress are proving to be victorious. Last but not least, Undead got pretty boring changes, but let's read them. So, spiked carapace buff to Criplord, not that big. Reversed, okay, reverted, okay. Tier 1 web dream, so like expanding versus Org with Criplord. That was the dream because the Wyverns are not that annoying. You can't make tier 1 web anymore. Reverted Gargoyle ground damage change, so there was a nerf, small nerf to Gargoyle like attack, and it was reverted as well. But the Blizzard really wants to nerf Gargs for some reason, and they decided to move their movement speed. So let me know in the comments what is worse, to have them attack less or move a little bit slower. Nerubian Tower attack speed reduced from 1.3 to 1.15, and Nerubian Tower doesn't deal that much damage. It's about applying the slow, right? And from my testing, it shows that you can still slow up to 3 units. And let me tell you, when Archmage and Water Elementals are attacking your Expo, then it's cool to change the target to slow them down. And definitely Happy is doing this from time to time. And still, if you can slow 3 units, it's completely fine. And big change to the Wand of Negation. So now it's a single target dispel, and we are going to test it. Is it good Wand of Negation? I don't even know. The single target dispel. I prefer the AoE dispel, but it's fine. It's fine. So let's test them in the game. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with this Nerubian Tower. So as we can see, it's attacking 1 worker. Okay, but when we change the target, okay, slow. Let's count the slow. As you can see, 3 of them are kind of blue. And yes, we can constantly keep 3 workers in the blue, right? So it's enough versus this Archmage guy, right? What else? The Gargoyle. Is this he's moving? Okay, I feel a little bit of this nerf is actually moving slower. It's actually moving slower than usual. And yes, look at this wand of negation. Wand of negation is here. So let's get the testing summoned unit. And look at this. I click on it. It's a single target and perfect. 200 damage. 200 damage, and the cooldown is not that. There is no cooldown. There is no cooldown. This is cool. There is no cooldown. Okay, so you don't need to. Actually, when there is no cooldown, it's actually pretty fun. But yes, it's still not that big of a change. And yes, web is on tier 2. By the way, there is a hidden buff to Undead. Actually, the burrow research time is 30 seconds, not 35 as Blizzard patch note says. So it's this 5 seconds buff to the Undead. And yes, for the Undeads, that's it. Not that many big changes. And guys, that was basically it. I will tell you if there are any new updates to the PTR. Definitely this hunts problem can't go live. If you like the video, check the, consider subbing to the YouTube channel. Check the shorts, because I probably publish the shorts about every race, every interaction. And thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.